Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. A very good evening, viewers. You are watching Voice of Toronto Television with me, Anjum Malik. I hope everybody is doing well. आप देख रहे हैं Voice of Toronto Television सारी हमारी जो नशरियात है YP चैनल्स के ऊपर, और उसके साथ साथ हम Facebook पे लाइव हैं, YouTube पे लाइव हैं, और आप हमारी नशरियात 24 घंटे देखते हैं सारे IP चैनल्स के ऊपर, सारे बॉक्सेस पे आप हमें देखते हैं, और हम हमें Facebook पे और YouTube पे भी लाइव हमें देखते हैं। आप हमारे जो प्रोग्राम्स हैं वो बाद में आप उसको रिपीट के ऊपर भी देखते हैं। बहुत सारे शोज़ जो हैं हमने आपके लिए लॉन्च किए हुए हैं, और टाइम टू टाइम हम आपके लिए बहुत सारे नए शोज़ जो हैं वो भी अरेंज करने जा रहे हैं इंशाल्लाह। तो जस्ट स्टे विद अस एंड कीप ऑन वाचिंग वॉइस ऑफ टोरंटो टीवी, एंड ऑलवेज लाइक आवर पेज विच इज़ वॉइस ऑफ टोरंटो टीवी। दैट इज़ आवर पेज फॉर सोशल मीडिया हैंडल, एंड सिमिलरली फॉर द इंस्टाग्राम एंड फॉर द यूट्यूब एज वेल। आज का इस प्रोग्राम को ख़ास मकसद जो करने का है वो ये है कि we've been trying to speak to a lot of mayors of our city who's been actively working, in a different capacities all their lives, and then they have, came to a point where they have been awarded, those mayorships, and then, it becomes an obligatory on them how they can serve the community, and how we, as people who live in that society or in that community, what are our expectations to them as well. So मेरी कोशिश आज ये है कि आज हमारे साथ मेयर ऑफ पिकरिंग जो हैं उनके मेयर हमारे साथ हैं, दैट इज़ केविन Ashe, and he has a great history of being in politics. The family was in politics, the dad was in politics, and so over a number of years he has been serving in different capacities, from a councillor to a regional councillor, and now as a mayor from 2022 on. और ख़ास तौर पे हमारी वो कम्युनिटी जो कि एजैक्स और पिकरिंग में रहती है, हमारी मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी, हमारी साउथ एशियन कम्युनिटी, उनके जो मसले मसाइल हैं उनको डिस्कस करने के लिए मैंने आज सोचा कि ख़ास तौर पे आज इनको दावत दी जाए स्टूडियो में। एंड इज़ सो नाइस ऑफ हिम दैट ही ड्रोव हियर बिफोर मी, ही वाज एट द स्टूडियोज़, एंड ही इज़ विद अस टुनाइट। एंड बिफोर आई रियली वेलकम हिम, वेरी हम्बल मैन, आई मेट हिम वंस बिफोर at an event, and I had reached out to his office, and his office was very proactive, and they said, we want to support you, Mr. Malik, to Voice of Toronto TV. The mayor want to support you, and at the same time we want to give it back to the mayor, to the Pickering and Ajax where they are. Obviously we live here in Brampton, Mississauga, but our voice goes out to everywhere in the city, because our slogan is your city, your voice. This is how we go by Voice of Toronto TV. A very good evening, Mayor. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Thank you for inviting me. I'm looking forward to chatting tonight and having a conversation with your viewers of Voice of Toronto.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when I was going through your biopic, and I see that you are a family of politicians. Your dad, and back in 1973, George Ashe, was the first mayor of the town of Pickering.
That's right.
And so you took over as a Ward 1 councillor back in 2003.
So yeah, I succeeded Mayor Ryan as the Ward 1 councillor when he became mayor 19 years ago, and then I've now waited 19 years and I succeeded him as mayor. So he's great, did some great things in our city and led it. We're about to, it's Pickering's time, it's Durham time, and Mayor Ryan was a great leader, and I'm honored to have his support and his friendship and his mentorship as well.
No, that's amazing. But the one thing that I was noticing, that from 2003, then there has been a gap of up till about 2013, I believe. Almost like 10 years. What happened there?
Well, in 2006, I decided to run provincially, and I ran when John Tory was the leader for the Progressive Conservative Party in the riding of Ajax Pickering, which was a riding that my dad used to represent. And if you recall, back then there was a very controversial policy, and that was faith-based education, which I think would have been fantastic for our faith communities, including the Jewish and Muslim faiths. But in the end, Mr. McGuinty was re-elected as premier, and I was not successful. So then I ran again as councillor in 2010, and served on council for 12 years until my election in 2022 as mayor.
Okay, okay. Now, if I go back and I see one thing very important here, that you got elected in 2013, 2014, and 2015. So that was pretty quick. Like that, every year there was an election that happened.
What happened was,
or you guys have a term that you have?
No, we have a 4-year term. But what happened was, MP Councillor Jennifer O'Connell ran as a Liberal MP,
okay,
and was successful.
Okay.
And then I was appointed from the city council to the regional council.
Okay.
And then we had a by-election for my empty seat. So my elections were 2010, 2014, and then I was appointed in 2015, and then re-elected in 2018.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
So there was a period in there when I moved up from being a city councillor to a regional
But 2018, you ran for a regional councillor position.
That's correct. Yeah.
And you won regional councillor position.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your journey from a councillor perspective to a regional councillor perspective, and now, you know, superseding as a mayor, it's a long journey.
Yes.
What is one thing, if I ask you, that you take back from all these years of city work? What is that one thing that you think that you have accomplished over the years that is helping you now after you became a mayor?
Well, I've always been very supportive of our community in terms of its diversity. Pickering and Durham is a very diverse community with temples and mosques and churches, and I've spent a lot of time reaching out to the faith communities as well as the ethnic communities, and I think it's really helped me understand our community because you know, our councils should represent the communities that we live in, and I actually met with the leaders of the mosque today because they have a planning item before us on Monday,
right,
about expanding the mosque and having a school, and I've really enjoyed that as a part of as I've grown in my political life, and I think it's served me well now because I try and have an open door, and we are a very diverse community growing rapidly, and a number of people from the ethnic communities are calling Pickering home. You know, I know you know about immigration here in Canada is about 500,000 people a year, and about 300,000 are calling them home, and a number of them are coming from Tamil communities, Hindu communities, as well as the Muslim communities. So I think the diversity of our province and my city is important, and I embrace it.
I think we have a caller. Very good evening, and thank you for calling Voice of Toronto TV.
Hi there, Mr. Anjum. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, very well. Thank you for the call. Who is calling you and from where?
My name is Azhar Khan, and I'm calling from Durham.
Durham,
and
okay.
my question for the Honorable Mayor Kevin Ashe.
Yeah, please go ahead. He is listening. Go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to say, Mr. Kevin Ashe, since last 12 years, he is supporting our youth leadership program. And since he was regional councillor, and Mr. David Pickle and Mayor Ryan, and we are so thankful to him because last 12 years we have 4,000 youth graduated, some from Ajax, some from Whitby, and some from Pickering. So I'm so thankful. He's a very active person, and we are so kind. My question is with Mr. Mayor that, as you know, that we are on the east side, and when we have this opportunity to start our airport here in Durham region, because you know every airport brings a lot of business and economical growth, and like Mississauga and Brampton have a lot of people moving because of airport, because not airport coming but tons of business coming. And we have a land here, and I think we have a debate in OPG from Toastmasters before 5 years. We won the debate, who are in the favor of airport. In your vision, are you seeing that airport is coming, or because I know you are very active on business and economic point of view? So what's your perspective about this question, sir?
Well, thank you for the compliment and thank you for the question. I've long been a proponent of the airport because I think it's important to recognize.
You want to stay with us, Mr. Khan, or you are watching us on TV, so you can.
I'm watching you, sir.
Okay, so you wanna hear the answer on the TV, or you want to stay with us?
Yes, sir. Answer on the TV, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the call, Mr. Khan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. I've long been a proponent of the airport because I think we look around the airport here in Mississauga and Brampton,
Yeah.
and you see the jobs that it creates. In Pickering, 86% of our tax revenue comes from residential tax base, only 14% from the commercial tax base. And I don't think anybody could disagree that an airport would be an economic driver. Now, our council has taken a contrary position, and I understand that, but in the reality is the federal government has just announced an RFP to do a aviation study of all Southern Ontario, which would include the capacity expansion requirements, Pearson, Waterloo, Hamilton,
Right.
Billy Bishop, and potentially an airport in Pickering.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be 50 million passengers. It could be a commercial airport.
Yeah.
A number of companies are looking for runway side businesses, and I think it would still be an economic driver, and it'll be up to the federal government. Those lands were expropriated in 1972, so we've had 51 years of inactivity on that file, and it's time for the federal government to make a decision. And I'm hopeful that they'll be fully engaged with our community and our business community, and we'll see how that study goes.
So in Markham area, they have the Buttonville Airport. So similarly, in that fashion, if then an airport could be established there, where a small charter aircrafts come in, or a flying club.
Yeah, flying club. Well, Buttonville's going to close at some point. It's been
Yes.
sold. It's a very valuable piece of land.
It is.
Flying club would like to move somewhere else.
Yeah.
Certainly, Oshawa has a fairly small city airport. Pickering could be one as well. So there is a need for leisure travel, for leisure flying, and small aviation companies.
Yeah.
And that would certainly be a fit in any new airport that the Government of Canada decides. And I commend the government for doing that. I think it's the right thing to do, and hopefully we'll make a decision in the fullness of time.
Okay. No, that would be actually phenomenal if that happens. It will open up a lot of doors, especially to the SPEs over there, small businesses, and even for the community itself.
Yeah.
A lot of charter companies could come in there. They can land, take off from there, and
And we are having in Pickering right now, we have about 110, 115,000 people. We're going to grow to about 250,000 over the next 25 years. And I want people not only to live there and play there, but to work there.
Yeah.
And we need employment growth as well as residential growth. And we're having some success along our innovation corridor, which is along the 407. You know, as you go across the 407, which I just did to come here, you see the commerce that's happening on both sides of the highway, and I want that to happen in Pickering as well.
I was speaking with Mayor Patrick Brown the other day when he was here, and he just came back from Pakistan for a trade visit to Pakistan. And very uniquely, he mentioned to me that Brampton has been awarded a beehive where people can come in, the technology people, and they can immigrate to Canada in shorter span of time, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. Is something like that on a platform for Pickering as well?
Well, I actually had some people in my office in the last week or two talking about the Brampton experience, because they are from Brampton.
Yeah.
And they're trying to do a similar thing in Pickering for cybersecurity. And the government of Ontario is about to make an announcement about some lands in Pickering, and we're hopeful that there'll be excuse me, an allocation of some lands that could be used for that type of thing, because I know Mayor Brown is a fantastic advocate for Brampton, and I'd be the same for Pickering.
Okay. I wanted to ask you some very important questions, and that pertains to, I mean, going down, we just talked initially about your Ward 1 councillorship and regional councillor, and you got inducted as, the mayor of Pickering. But other than that, you've been someone very vocal about mental health.
Yeah.
I was kind of astonished when I saw that your stepson had died of a suicide.
Yes.
Alex.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that,
Sure.
and how are you as a mayor want to fight mental illness, the helplessness and the mental health at the same time, in the area where you are a mayor.
Thank you. Well, thank you for the question. I always like the opportunity to talk about Alex and mental health. Alex died by suicide, age 27, April 1st, 2018, which was Easter Sunday. And Karen and I, my spouse, talk about him because we have to acknowledge there's a crisis in our country about homelessness, addiction, and mental health. And we got to end the stigma about asking for help, especially for young men, especially in marginalized or racialized communities. It's a sign of weakness, and it shouldn't be. We don't think a person who has cancer is weak, so we shouldn't think a person with mental health is weak. So we have to have an open dialogue, and we have to be unafraid about talking about it and asking for help. What I'm doing, I have a mayor's gala that I'm following Mayor Ryan's tradition, which will be in November of this year. We hope to raise about $300,000 or so. All of it's going to mental health. We're doing some street mental health. We're doing Wounded Warriors, which is mental health for first responders. And I'm happy to chat and talk about our experience. My wife's in healthcare. I have access and aware of what's happening, and we weren't able to help our son. So I can't imagine how some people are lonely and feel isolated, so it's important to have that conversation. And mental health is at a crisis level, even more so after the pandemic, because we lost our social interaction. We had people on their own and isolated.
So during that time when, so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
First of all, my heart goes out to
Thank
you, Mayor. But at that time when that thing happened, and anything before that, did it ever occur between you and Mrs. Mayor that you need to sit down with him, have a conversation with him, or you never knew it was coming?
No, we knew he was having some issues, but we thought he'd turn the corner. He was an apprentice electrician. He had just been engaged. He was, like many that suffer from mental health issues, life of the party. But he was self-medicating and had a bit of a breakdown on Valentine's Day, February, and he was dead 7 weeks later. So we were aware that there was some challenge. He lived on his own with some friends, and mental health doesn't care if you're black or white, doesn't care if you're young or old, doesn't care if you're male or female, doesn't care if you're gay or straight. It affects everybody, and we have to have an adult conversation and make aware of it. And it should be no shame asking for help. And I encourage anybody who's aware of people having a challenge, reach out to them. Because
so as a mayor, since you have taken over, and by virtue of you have gone through this, emotions, have you set up a process where you have the center developed? The people are there, like support workers are there, and they can help people with mental health. Do they need to call a number? Do they need to schedule appointments? Or people need to go out to reach them at homes?
Yeah.
How are you differentiating it by virtue of as a mayor,
Yeah.
and also trying to help the community in that areas, knowingly that there are a lot of people need that help?
Two ways. One, as I indicated, the Mayor's Gala will raise about $300,000, and that's going to go directly to frontline healthcare, mental health.
You mean the workers?
Workers
Okay.
that will be working on the street for people.
Okay.
And second
So
of all,
creating awareness.
that's right. And
It's like a campaign.
That's right. And the
Okay.
second thing is creating awareness, ending the stigma. You know, we have every year, the last weekday of January, we have this Bell Let's Talk, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But the reality is we should have Bell Let's Talk every day of the
Every
year.
day, absolutely.
We should be unafraid about talking
Yeah.
about these challenges and end the stigma. There's some great people that are doing great work. Michael Landsberg, Sick Not Weak is his hashtag, who suffered from depression. He's a very successful TV guy that is very open about his struggles. There's pro athletes that are now talking about their struggles. We have example over an example of successful, brilliant people. Anthony Bourdain, the chef, Robin Williams, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, who were very successful in life but had this challenge that they couldn't overcome.
Viewers, you are watching Voice of Toronto Television with me, Anjum Malik, and I have with me the Honorable Mayor Kevin Ashe from Pickering. And if you have a question, and if you live in his riding in that area of Ajax and Pickering, and if you have a question, please pick up the phone, give us a call, like the other gentleman just called right now. Our studio line numbers are on the screen, which is 905-670-4114. I wanted to, other than this particular subject, I wanted to ask you in regards to regarding, in your area, there is a, let's talk about, first of all, the Muslim population of Pickering, Ajax. How much is that?
I'm not sure the exact number, but it's growing every day.
Somewhere around 30,000, 40,000?
Oh, I would think it's a large number too. I know, as I was meeting with the president and the trustees of the mosque today, they were telling me about the challenge that they're having with their mosque. Traffic challenges, parking challenges, the need to go from 2 prayers on Friday to 4 prayers, and the
community expanding.
And they really have asked me to help them find another place for a new mosque.
Right.
But they're fantastic people in terms of community-minded. They help with our food banks. They are fantastic representatives and ambassadors for the city, and a caring people. That's what Islam's about anyway.
Yes.
That's for sure. They're peaceful people as well. And I'm delighted to attend prayers in the mosque and Eid and Ramadan and all those fantastic celebrations. So.
So what do you feel that the people of your riding, the Pickering, especially the ward you live in and all that area, what are the challenges that they have right now, that they are reaching out to you, and then you as a mayor, you can say, you know what, we are looking into this, this is something during my tenure, this is something I want to do this, I want to finish this off. What are those challenges that you want to overcome right now?
A couple things. One, people are struggling. Taxes are a burden on people. Gas prices are a burden on people. And food is a burden on people. We're a very affluent community, but there's people being left behind. So I want to have the support systems that allow everybody to have an equal footing. Housing prices are still a challenge. You know, I have a 32-year-old, a 31-year-old, and a 28-year-old.
Still living under the same umbrella?
One of them living with us,
okay.
And 2 of them, you know, renting. The dream of home ownership is still a dream for many.
It is.
Mom and dad have to help with that down payment, and it's the same in Brampton, Mississauga.
Yeah.
So we do have a housing crisis in our country, certainly in our community and the GTA. So we have to build more houses faster. That's what Premier Ford's trying to do with Minister Clark, and Pickering's about to explode in terms of population. But we need choice in housing. We need not only intensification and condos, which could often be an entry into the marketplace, but we need bungalows for seniors who are looking to downsize, and we still need single-family homes because that's what a lot of people still want. So affordability and livability, and certainly managing growth in a responsible way, because we have to do it in an orderly and responsible and sustainable way.
ओके व्यूअर्स, आप देख रहे हैं वॉइस ऑफ टोरंटो टेलीविज़न, मेरे साथ अंजुम मलिक के साथ और प्राइम टाइम विद अंजुम मलिक में, और हम एक छोटे से ब्रेक पे जा रहे हैं 2-3 मिनट के, और ड्यूरिंग दिस ब्रेक अगर आपका कोई क्वेश्चन हो तो आप फ़ोन उठाइए, हमसे बात कीजिए 9056704114. Lot more to come on this show from Honorable Mayor Kevin Ashe, and I'll come back to you in about 3 to 4 minutes. Thank you so much for watching us, and please do not change this channel. We're coming back right now. Thank you.
ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਉਦੋਂ ਸਮਝ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਦ ਅਸੀਂ ਟਰੈਵਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਤੇ ਜੇ ਟਰੈਵਲਿੰਗ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸੁਪਨਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਸੁਪਨੇ ਨੂੰ ਸੱਚ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ETN ਟਰੈਵਲਸ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਜਰਨੀ ਨੂੰ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਇੱਕਦਮ ਸਮੂਥ, ਡੋਮੈਸਟਿਕ ਐਂਡ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਟਰੈਵਲ, ਆਲ ਇਨਕਲੂਸਿਵ ਪੈਕੇजेस, cruises, super visa insurance, ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਨਾਲ ETN Travels ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਹਰ ਟਰੈਵਲਿੰਗ ਨੀਡ ਲਈ one stop solution. 2 locations to serve you, Brampton and Mississauga.
ETN Travels serving you from 2 locations, Brampton 905-463-1301, Mississauga 905-463-1304.
सुकून कैसा है बता नहीं सकता, सब घर वालों का भी यही हाल है। खुशी जैसे रूह में उतर सी गई हो, सच पूछें तो ये मुमकिन बनाया H होम रियल्टी ब्रोकरेज की अनिला जहरा ने।
अपने ख्वाबों का घर आप भी पा सकते हैं, बस एक फोन कॉल और जिंदगी आसान।
Call Anila Zehra at 905-462-0133.
More shopping?
Yes, on my home.
Welcome to Pan Am Blinds Limited. My name is Bobby, and I would like to introduce our very newest product. It is only with us with Pan Am Blinds in Improve Canada. So it's combination of and silver shades, so Venus shades, so or Shangri-La shades. So it's a very unique and new product in different colors. If you would like to see how it works, just see over here. You have to pull it down. It's an energy saver. You can save your 85% energy, and also it has child safety features over here. If you see here, if it goes down, it will open itself, and you will see through from this, but ultraviolet rays controlled. No UV light will come in, and you can see out, and people, they can see very slightly. However, when your mood changes, what you can do, just pull it down. It gives you 100% privacy. and it will control also ultraviolet rays control. You want to see out what is a sea view, just pull it again. This is our very newest product. Please come to our store and see how many beautiful colors we do have and enjoy your comfort of life. Thank you very much to visit Panam Clients.
Well, looks like you got some great stuff for your new home.
Yes, that makes me happy.
Happy? Then why aren't you smiling?
I am smiling.
Muslim Welfare Canada has made a concerted effort to lead the fight against child labor, poverty, and illiteracy in third world countries through the generous support of our donors. Both girls and boys receive free, good quality education. Help educate a needy child for just $1 a day or $30 per month. Donate generously. Call 1-866-754-3111 or visit mwcanada.org.
Welcome back, viewers. You are watching Voice of Toronto Television with me, Anjum Malik, and I have the Honorable Mayor Kevin Ashe with us from Pickering today. And during our conversation, we are discussing a lot of issues in regards to the area of residents, especially people who live in their riding. And if you are one of those individuals who lives in their riding, and this is a great opportunity for you to interact with the mayor. If you have a question, you give me a call. Our studio lines are 905-670-4114. That's the number to reach us to talk to the mayor. Mayor Ashe, let's talk a little bit about some of the developments that you're thinking that the city of Pickering is going to see in the next term that while you're here, and what are in the pipeline right now? What are people to expect?
Well, we're going to have an explosion of population in Pickering. We have really 4 areas. We're going to continue to work on Seaton, which is along the Taunton Road, middle of the city, and that will continue to grow. We have intensification along our Kingston Road corridor. Since January, we've approved about 11 different residential condo developments, a hotel as well as an office tower,
really?
which is great. And then the official plan of the region of Durham was approved 2 weeks ago, which it called for the expansion of the urban boundary of Pickering to northeast Pickering. So that'll be probably farther than this term in terms of planning. But the government's announced plans to develop Cherrywood through the changes in the Greenbelt legislation, and we expect the government to make public known its intention in the next month or so. So stay tuned. There's going to be lots of news about Pickering on the map, and I look forward to working with the government and make sure that Pickering is made whole in regards to these changes that the government is making in regards to housing. But Pickering is taking the challenge head on. We do need more housing in the GTA. We do have housing prices. I mentioned we have about 500,000 new Canadians coming, 300,000 stay in the GTA. We have about 400,000 permanent visitors that are here. Often they're offshore in regards to foreign students. So we need places for them to live.
Okay. So one of the things that I was kind of scrolling it down, and I see that there are some an area of about 9,000 acres of land that needs to get developed. And what do you call that land? It is some sort of an area where you need to go into the development with major housing projects, or this is for commercial buildings?
Well, like I said, we had 3 areas that we're going to be developing. Seaton, which will be a mix. When I talk to the government about new housing, I want not only houses, I want jobs.
Yeah.
So the Cherrywood area, which the government's going to be chatting about in the next month or two, You're talking about 25,000 units, about 75,000 people, but it's also 30,000 jobs. And that's kind of to the Markham border, over to Whites Road. And then we have 5,000 acres around the airport site that the government's going to make some decisions about. So it's important to get a mix because growth has to pay for itself. And we need more than residential tax base. We need commercial and industrial tax base. Okay. And that's why Brampton, Mississauga have had tremendous success in regards to renewing their infrastructure because of that tax base.
Can I request my technical team to have Mayor's picture and the camera behind him so people know exactly his all his achievements that he's been doing all these years. One of the things that I feel that, Mr. Mayor, to ask you, that was in regards to the shelters, the homeless shelters. What is your take being a mayor now since became from a councillor to a regional councillor and moved on to the mayor? How do you see that, and what do you think, how big is that problem in your area?
Well, I was at a drop-in center today, actually, where we have about 15 or so underhoused people come in every week to our library. So I happened to be there today to greet them and to support the volunteers that are supporting them. So Pickering has a small issue. It's not as great as it is in Ajax or Oshawa, where there's tremendous issues. But this is happening in all small towns right across this country. I read last night about Barrie having some issues. Kitchener, Waterloo, London. We're struggling with addiction, mental health, and homelessness. So we need a new plan. We need the federal government to support municipalities and to do modular homes, do some things with bail reform. We can't keep releasing criminals on the streets so quickly, and those are people that are pushing poison in our cities. So we need a lot of changes, and the federal governments can lead, and the provincial government can lead, because these solutions can't be paid for by the residential tax base. There's simply not enough money. So we need partners with our provincial and federal government. And I think this affluent country called Canada should be able to look after its citizens.
Yeah, I mean, because as human beings, when we look at it, and we moved in these countries from different part of the world, and
many come from war-torn, come here as refugees, come here to a safe haven, and they have their story of hardship at home, and they come to our country, and some of our problems with homelessness are new Canadians and refugees, but many are not. Some have been here for generations and decades, and the scourge of mental health and addictions and homelessness doesn't know if you're black or white or yellow or green, for that matter. So it's important that we support everybody.
So how many hospitals right now you guys have in Pickering?
Hospitals?
Yeah.
None.
Zero.
We don't have a hospital.
No hospital at all?
No, our hospital is Ajax Pickering, and it's in Ajax. And Centenary's in Scarborough, Markham Stouffville's in Markham. So Pickering, 110,000, doesn't have a hospital.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? This is something you really have to look into it.
I've talked to
during
MPP
your tenure
into, absolutely.
Into the office.
It's one of my chief goals, is to have a healthcare presence in our community.
One of the questions that was asked me, they asked me that question, that I should ask you this question when I did posted it on social media about you coming in. People who reside, the Muslim community who reside in Pickering area, the cemeteries over there, what are you doing for that? I mean, there is any subsidized areas available, or the cemetery is available, or the graves are available at a low cost that could be given to the mosque and the people can use them? Let's talk a little bit about that. People want to hear, that notion, what it is.
Yeah, well, Pickering doesn't have a municipal cemetery. They're all privately owned. Certainly, I've partnered with our Hindu community for their burial down at our waterfront, which I think is a great tradition. And they look after the area. And it's something that I haven't heard a lot about, but I'm learning, certainly willing to learn about the needs of the community in that regard. I certainly have an open door. And
so these mosque people who run the mosque, they have not highlighted this issue to you as a mayor?
They have not directly highlighted it to me since I was sworn in November. That's not to say they haven't done it to the former mayor, but I'm not familiar with that as an issue. But I'm certainly intrigued by it, and will follow up because I do have ongoing conversations with the trustees at the Islamic
because in Brampton all the cemeteries are becoming full, and especially then they have the Muslim side, and they have the Christian side, and then they have they have all different sides at the cemetery. So I mean, this is something people do reside there.
Absolutely.
People are going to live there. They're going to die there.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have to plan their funeral arrangements, and they have to plan cemeteries. They have to plan their graves for that. And I thought I should ask you because they asked me that question. So I said I will ask the mayor any question.
I'm sorry I don't have a direct answer, but I'm certainly going to look into it.
Okay.
So the next time I'm back, I'll be able to talk to him about it, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you so much. No, I really appreciate that for you coming back again. This is one thing I always request to the mayors, Bonnie Crombie, Patrick Brown, Mr. Krantz, yourself. We are the city, we are your voice. At Voice of Toronto TV, we like to create as much as awareness on all sort of issues that we have as a community with us. And we are all not supernatural humans. We are all human beings, and you as a self-mayor, my position, what we do as station, our job is to ask you a question, not to somehow to make you accountable to things. To some point, yes, but at the same time, the people have a lot of hopes. When they go out and they vote you, they have hopes that have this gentleman, wonderful guy coming in. We're gonna take our issues to him, and he's gonna address them. So this is very important.
Absolutely.
And the other thing that I was just thinking was in regards to the jobs. Like in Mississauga and Brampton, you see a lot of corporate, offices are here, a lot of warehousing developed here. How is it in Pickering and Ajax area? How are the jobs in that area?
Well, Ajax has a very large logistics sub-business. We're having some success along the Innovation Corridor, which is on the 407. Kubota moved their head office to Pickering. Lastman's Bad Boy moved their head office to Pickering, just opened recently. FGF Brands, which is a large bakery, a technology company that bakes, bought Weston Foods for over $1 billion, is moving to Pickering. About 3,000 jobs. They just bought 151 acres in our innovation corridor. So we're having tremendous success. And we have to do more though, because as I indicated, we're going to have a population explosion, and we need jobs to support the people that are living there. And the people that are coming for these new jobs, need the infrastructure as well. So we're having some success. And I said when I was running, I want to be the jobs mayor.
What about policing in your area? Is it similarly like now? We are on an edge of where there's going to be some sort of separation between region of Peel, Mississauga, and Brampton. And what's going to happen here, we don't know till 2025. It's on the table. But in Pickering and Ajax areas, how is the policing works in your riding, in your areas, and what sort of opportunities are there for the community?
Absolutely. Prior to November, I served on the police board for the last 5 years. I didn't go back on the board because I wanted to focus my energies entirely on being the mayor. So the Durham Regional Police is about 1,000 members strong, 700 of them uniform officers, so smaller than Peel. But we have 8 different municipalities, and we have a fantastic police service. Brand new chief, by the way, who came to us from Toronto. We're trying to diversify our police service because I think it's It should be policed by people that recognized in terms of the community. The police service should be representative of the diverse community that we have. Police officers have a very, very hard job. They are nurses, police constables, social workers, and we have to support them. And I think they need more resources, not less. So I think it's foolish that we talk about defunding the police. Certainly we can reallocate monies to mental health and the like, but we have to support our police and all our first responders, paramedics and firefighters as well. So policing in Ajax Pickering is service down of Pickering. There's one station for the two communities, and it's well led by Inspector Carter, and who is a very, very large black man. I call him the human eclipse. He's such a big guy, but he's a teddy bear. So I think it's great that our young people are getting visited in the schools by police officers, so that they know that it's a friendly face when they see an officer of the Durham Regional Police.
Okay. We talked in general about a lot of things, a lot of your accomplishments. Where do you want to see Pickering in the next 4 years, 5 years, 10 years? What is the plan in your mind?
Well, I want to be, I want to have the GO train as full in the morning coming out to Pickering as it is going into the city. I really want to see a reverse commute. So we're trying to develop a downtown. We've approved the residential towers, about 13 along the 401, which is where our GO train is. So we need jobs that go with that. So we do have, earlier this year, we have approved a city center project where we're going to develop a new library, a new senior center, a new youth center, a new performing arts center on our Esplanade Park. It's called Facilities on the Park concept. So I'd like to see an emerging downtown. We don't really have a downtown here 50 years later, so we're trying to develop a downtown. Our mall is struggling, as are a lot of malls, so we need people to be a gathering place, and I think this concept of a city center project is valuable, so we're going to see the first parts of that. And we need to have a renewal of our infrastructure. Simply put, we need better transit, we need better hospitals, we need better roads, and that's certainly a thing you'll hear from mayors from across the GTA.
Last but not least, Mayor, how many regional councillors in your council and councillors right now?
In Pickering, we have 6 councillors, which 3 of them, we have 3 wards. So each ward elects a city councillor, and each a ward elects a regional councillor, and the regional councillor sits on both city council and regional council, and then there's myself. So we have 7 councillors. 4 of them sit at regional council, and there's 29 members of regional council with the chair of the 8 communities. So we have 3 wards. We've already determined that we're changing the ward system next time to rejig to allocate for our population growth, which is going to happen in our north. So that's going to change the makeup of our committee, or of our council. But I encourage people to get involved in our community. If you have any questions, email me at mayor@pickering.ca. If you have a comment, a complaint, or a compliment, send me an email. Or,
send it to me.
Or customer care at pickering.ca is another.
So that's your camera, Mr. Mayor. You can put out that message to our community loud and clear. So they could, one more time. mayor@pickering.ca or customer care at pickering.ca is the way you reach out. I do have social media active channels. After each council meeting, I do a short video. And I know we've used your good offices in the of Voice of Toronto TV, and hope to continue that partnership. Thank you, sir.
And I'd love to come back at another time.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for driving up here on this Wednesday night, especially with doing this. And I'm sure with the wealth of wisdom and knowledge that you have inherited from your dad and to yourself, and being with the city for so many years, from councillors to regional councillors, now to a mayor, I'm sure the city residents will benefit from this huge experience that you have behind you. A lot more years before we talk about any legacies for you, but I think you can come back and again, you know, because people know you. And this is what I asked Mayor Gordon Krantz when he was here on that seat. I asked him,
that's a legacy.
It is a legacy. I asked him that.
Yeah.
He said that 47 years. I said, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, is it going to be a time that you're going to say no? He said, no. It's a no. He said, no, I'm still working.
He's longer than Hazel.
Yes.
And in our community, about 6 years ago, they named the library after my dad as the first mayor. So I already have an Ashe legacy, and it's a big one to fill. But you know, we've got some fantastic mayors in the GTA, and Toronto's about to make a selection with a choice of 102 people.
Do you have a pick, Mr. Mayor? Just a random name, doesn't matter.
Well,
who would you like to see?
If I was a voter in Toronto, I'd be looking at Anna Balo or Mark Saunders.
Mark Saunders, the police chief.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
All right,
Thank you for coming down here.
Thanks for including me.
Thank you for making very special for tonight. Viewers, this was our show for tonight, and we'll come back to you. Actually, tomorrow we're doing another transmission. There's an event that is coming up on June 10th. So I'm going to invite the mayor to that event at Marriott that's happening. We have some a group, a musical group that came from Pakistan. They're going to be performing there. They've been very famous back home. It's going to be evening of fun and all that. They will be here tomorrow with their unplugged, a lot of songs and some music. It's going to be some fun tomorrow night. Till then, look after yourself and come back to you. A very good evening, a very good night watching for Voice of Toronto Television. And thank you for, especially to my technical team, Mr. Amir Akhtar, always putting up with us and making us look good. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Good night.